welcome to the VALT Podcast. We are your car culture cultivators. Once again, I am joined by
Rob.
And Joe.
And of course, I'm Sean. Great show in store for you today. Joe, why don't you tell them all about it?
All right, so the VALT Podcast is what you're listening to, and this is how you get to it. Go onto YouTube, type in VALT Podcast. It's not the one that's about sports, it's the one that's about cars. You're going to subscribe to it, and there you go. It'll be fun for you. The second plug is to become a member of the VALT community. It's very, very easy. The link is down in the description. We have a bunch of different private events that we do every single week, basically. And it's full of a lot of fun drives, events, gatherings, weekends out, all the stuff. So quick and easy plugs, but there you have it.
Nice.
So that brings us into the question of the day, which I thought would be fun to do a copper drop. So I wanted the cars and bids. I found two BMW V8s. So you're going to tell me which one you cop and which one you drop. I'm going to start with
We haven't done this in a while.
this, which is an E90. This is an E90 M3. It's a 2011. It's a frozen edition car. So this is a matte finish before matte was like a thing.
Right.
So it's a cool car. 64,000 miles. All the preventative maintenance stuff's been done. Sedan, 6-speed, cool car. And then I compare these two because I think they're going to be going for similar values. Right now, this high bid's $33,000, but this is an E34 M540i. This is a Canadian only car.
Yeah, you had one of these, right?
I had
a white one.
So in the US, they were called 540i M Sports.
Yeah.
The only difference about them were that this car gets the floating rotors from the Euro M5, and mine just got regular E34, like US spec M5.
That was a white one you had, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so they're different cars. Like people, like E34 people will yell at you if you said they're the same, but they're the same.
Mm-hmm.
So this is only 32 M540s ever made.
Oh, wow.
And 200 of the M Sport in America. And so this one seems like really nice. It's already more expensive than mine, which is exactly where it should be. I do think that they're going to go for the same amount of money, though, the E90 or the E34.
What should they go? What should these go for? What is
kind
of range?
The value of it shouldn't ever go for more than M5 money because this is not an M5.
Yeah, right.
It doesn't feel like one. That motor is kind of lazy feeling, and it's not very fun.
Those wheels off the 740?
Well, they're in parallel, so they were on this
Okay.
car first.
Okay.
In like Europe and stuff. So this is exactly how it came from the factory.
Yeah.
Sick.
So it has EDC shocks, electronic dampening, a 6-speed. It's a 4-liter V8. This is the last year of the E34. This was created, I think, because BMW in Europe wasn't going to produce an M5 for the country for the E39 generation. So this was like the stopgap. And then there was so much demand, I think, that they ended up coming, which is why you don't see 1999 M5s. You only see them starting in 2000. Yeah. But anyway, what do you guys get to choose? The E90, the frozen, low miles, or a E34 kind of like collector car?
I think I'd probably have to do the E90, partially because it's like our childhood. That was like the M3 growing up to me, at least. And also because I think there's more room in E90s for appreciation than in E34s.
Very true. I'm gonna definitely pick the E90. I've had an E34 540 with the EDC suspension, and mine was not as good of an example as this one, but these are way less interesting than M5s. By a huge margin. Like,
and that E90s are also, that's like kind of the right E90.
Yeah, frozen edition.
It's not an E92, it's not an E91, and it's a special edition with low mileage.
Yeah, still has its original small wheels. It's like it probably has a carbon fiber roof.
It doesn't look like it in that photo, do they?
Yeah, they should.
Editions do.
No. I think all of them.
I didn't know that.
This one has a sunroof, so it doesn't.
Okay.
But you could option it with a carbon fiber roof.
I thought that was only the.
Yeah, my dad test drove them with a carbon fiber roof.
Yeah, I love these things.
Yeah, this is good. I think this is definitely my choice, Sean.
So I would say, maybe for the same reasons that you chose this car or the E90, that I would pick the E34.
Really?
It's like quintessential like 90s.
Yeah.
That's like my heyday.
Yeah.
Dude, I love the look on these. I remember, is I was looking at one of these like back in like maybe the early 2000s, late 90s, and it was actually a M5.
Okay.
Same
I think
color.
if this were an M5, it'd be a much harder.
Same color and
I'd
everything.
be picking the M5 for sure.
And at the
Yeah.
Buggy Bank in Berkeley, I went and looked at it.
That's so
and it was
crazy
for
that-
$4,500.
That makes
And I
sense.
said-
That
And I
makes
said
sense.
it's too much money.
Yeah.
But who knew?
My
Who
dad
knew?
bought his first E34 for 10 grand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would. If this were an M5, I would probably take this.
Yeah, I mean, those who have driven the M60 that haven't like supercharged them, like Julian, know that these engines are like not very interesting to drive.
Yeah.
They're really long geared. Like it's just not. You drive this car next to any E34 M5.
Yeah.
It's like total night and day difference. These aren't worth the money. I've had one. I sold one. And they're not worth the money.
Yeah.
But like as like a piece of a collection, like if you're an E34 nut or like a vintage BMW
Yeah, you
person,
kinda need it.
you kind of need the car.
Yeah.
And this one seems like it's in good shape, except for the photos are like way over
Exposed.
Like, we have no idea if this is actually in good shape or not.
Yeah.
That's a pro tip for me. Like this just looks too crazy for me. Like I have no idea. Like all this.
It's like too well done.
all this. Yeah. All this editing. Like if you look at the, we won't have to go
Well, it's
into
just studio. This is just what they look like in studio.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to go into that much because this is a quick fire. But like, if you look at the close-ups of the windshield, there's like water spots all over it and shit. Like, I mean, like it's a car I wouldn't trust yet.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's good.
I can't get over that E90, man. I every like year probably I have like a week where I go really deep into looking for E90s, even though I don't really have any reason to buy one.
I'd totally buy
for me,
one.
if it was a coupe, it'd be another story. But just
You're
the
more- you
M3
like the
I
sedans.
love
more?
the sedans.
I don't
love
like the sedans.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like
I don't
the
like
sedans.
really any
Any M sedan.
M3 sedan.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
personal preference.
Well, what other M? There's just
All
I
the
guess
new
it's just
ones.
E90
All the new
and
ones,
Yeah,
up
all
is
the new
M3s.
ones. Like they all become like all the
Yeah.
M3s are sedans now.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
M4s are
That makes.
coupes.
Yeah, I get what you.
But yeah, I mean, comment down below which one you pick. Would you pick the M Sport or the M540, or would you pick the E90? I'm curious. I'm sure people who know that watch us know what these two are. They're kind of both kind of special cars
Yeah.
in the BMW's lineup. I'm
I
just
wonder
kind
what your
of
dad
curious.
would choose.
Yeah, I mean, when these were brand
If you
new,
were an M5, obviously.
when
but-
when the E90s were brand new, I remember him test driving like a really pretty spec, and I fell in love with the car. Like actually, I
Yeah.
vividly remember
what
going
color
to.
was it?
It was that silver blue,
Yeah.
Silverstone, or
Silverstone,
something?
yeah.
with red
So it
interior.
is. Yeah, that's cool.
And
I've seen some of those come up here and there, and that's like my LSB cinnamon version.
Oh
of
my
an
God.
M3. That's like what I want.
That car was
So
like
cool.
such an impact on me that every time I see any E90 sedan period that's a M3, I'm like, I
Need
actually
it.
one of my bucket list cars. Is
yeah,
an
yeah,
M3
yeah,
sedan.
mine too.
The way they sound so high strung. It's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, comment down below which one you would pick. So that brings us into current events, and this is an unfortunate event that is not technically legal yet. It needs to go through whatever the next, like at the Congress or whatever. But the California Senate passes a bill requiring passive speed limiters, and what a passive speed limiter is when you exceed a speed limit in your new car, your brand new car, it'll bing at you, and it'll just keep binging until you go below that speed. So it's like a non-stop bing.
You know, the day
That's
this
crazy.
hits the market, there's gonna be like 700 different software developers that have
Yeah.
created like
A huge
ways around
jailbreak.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we go, California, man, leading the way and effing up the car,
Just
always
the car
doing-
space, dude. Doing too
always-
much, man.
Always really just doing what's best for us. You know?
Yeah.
Looking
So
after,
this is the
looking
first-
after all of the people that live here and their interests.
It's the first U.S. state to pass something like this, but in Europe, it's already happening.
Yeah.
Like I was just listening to
Isn't
a
it-
podcast the other day, and an Aston Martin that was Euro spec was here on press,
Uh-huh.
and when it surpassed a speed limit, it would bing at you nonstop.
Yeah.
And that was the only negative, and everyone was like, no, it's in Europe, in America that doesn't happen, and apparently by 2032 that will happen. So,
Crazy.
I'm curious to know if that will actually happen or not. I mean, it needs to
They're
still
not
pass.
gonna like retrofit old cars. Like,
no shot.
yeah,
No shot.
There's
yeah.
no way they could do that.
As long as it's passive, I mean, and hell, possibly, if it could save you on your insurance, if you're that kind of driver.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
If
I mean,
you're,
if you don't
drive
speed,
an Altima,
yeah, if you don't speed,
you
it
might
would-
need
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
if
god.
you drive an Altima or a Charger, you might need this.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's unfortunate news. And an different interesting news. Alpine might be coming. I guess is definitely coming to the U.S.
Yeah, I heard about this.
So they're
People have
bringing
been screaming about this for years, and I didn't think it would ever happen.
A110 successor, which is kind of cool.
It's a little sad that it's just EV though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool that somebody's bringing like a small, compact sports car on the EV market. You know, but
Yeah, these seem so like.
I just wish it wasn't an EV.
If you go to Europe, you see these all over the place.
Yeah, they are everywhere.
So like, it's
And
kind of
people
weird to
love
see them.
there.
Oh yeah, they're awesome. So it'll be interesting to see them around here.
Yeah, it'll look very out of place here.
Yeah, it will really look out of place. But that's interesting. I mean, I'm guaranteed there's going to be no.
I've never driven one. Have you driven one?
No.
You haven't driven one, have you?
No.
I bet they feel like Volkswagens.
I would really like to.
Like it's
though.
like modern Volkswagen. You
I've
know?
heard they're great.
Yeah. But that's cool. I mean, get ready
the
to see
electric
those.
one or like an old Alpine?
No, the non-electric one. There's
Okay, yeah.
there's non-EV Alpine.
Yeah.
A110
Yeah.
modern A110s in Europe. They're 4-cylinder turbos, right?
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. They're nothing crazy. It's just like a typical economy car, sporty economy car. Yeah. So that's that. That's that for the current events. Nothing else really interesting happening in the world of automotive. But that brings us into Vault news. Sundays on Solano happened last weekend, which was really fun. You were out in LA at the Comedy Store and
Yes.
celebrating your son's birthday.
There was a
Yes.
crazy Lemons car there. Guy built like a 41. What even was it?
I have no idea what that was, but it was crazy. It was like mid-engine. It was like the
It was
weight
front.
balance
It was basically like front mid-engine. It was
Yeah.
like it was like a Previa.
Someone was telling me, I'm not sure if it was you or Jake, but they were saying they were talking to the owner and he had a perfect 50-50 weight balance on it because of the way it's set
And
up.
it's going to Lemons.
Were they from around here?
I didn't get to see. I didn't get to talk to him.
The crazy thing is Ben, who comes to a lot of our shows.
Mm-hmm.
He drives a Miata. He has a P1800 and some other stuff. He comes up to the car and there's this like navy switchboard on
Okay.
the dash, and Ben looked at the serial number and then like got out his phone, was like scrolling through his phone, and he had like sold that exact switchboard like 10 years ago on Craigslist or something, and it somehow ended up in this guy's
This
car,
guy.
and he had never met this dude, just a random guy, and he's like, I owned that switchboard, and it's like the control panel for the car. No, it's kind of cool.
That's crazy.
The thing was cool.
Nice.
Yeah, but it was a good turnout. Typical Sundays in Solano, a little bit of everything. Coffee was
And
good.
nothing of the same.
Yeah, no,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah, I mean
right.
that car is like a great testament to it.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how none
Yeah.
of us had seen.
It's
this
always
thing
fun. I
before.
love seeing the pictures because they're always random and different. Always.
yeah.
So it's a lot of fun.
It pained me to miss that one. I really want to be there.
Hey, I mean, you
were
got to
doing
see
fine.
the. You got to go to the Comedy Store. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So that brings us into future events coming up. So our Cars and Coffee, that's partnered with Contra Costa Auto Service and My Shop, Otati Car Detailing, is happening very soon. If you were at the last one, that is insane because there was 5 people at the last one because it was pouring rain. Actually, there was
Oh,
more
yeah.
water than oxygen in the atmosphere at that point. It was insane how much rain there was. So I appreciate you guys
Concrete
coming
was
out.
underwater.
And it's going to be way better this time. And that's going to be in June. So hope to see you then. The next day after that is Barbecue, and we all know what Barbecue is. That's going to be a lot of fun. At this point, it's a staple, and we look forward to it every month.
Nice.
And
I
then
think I have more people hitting me up or mentioning the barbecue than anything right now.
oh yeah, it's
It's really great.
it's awesome. It's a great vibe.
We got to shut down that street.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting about that.
Yeah, we'll make it happen soon. And then the last thing is stay tuned for Cars and Culture announcements. That's going to be at Napa Vault. We are working on getting all that stuff out, and you should be seeing it very soon. So a lot of things in the pipeline for public events for Vault, and there's even more for the membership platform. So like I was saying before, links down in the description to learn more about the memberships. Like events every weekend, 1 to 3 different events every single weekend. Basically, it's crazy. It's a lot of fun. So that brings us into our project updates. So I'll start with the projects because they're kind of boring, but
Oh my god, this Toyota story. Did he tell you this story?
I think I was listening to it.
Oh,
yeah.
all right. So last week I was talking about going to a Toyota dealership to possibly lease a Corolla hatchback.
Yeah.
For
What happened with the truck?
What
Were you
truck?
talking about the Ford?
Oh, I was thinking about the Ford
the
Maverick,
Maverick.
but then I started researching it, and like I guess they have this recall where like
Garbage.
fuel vapor leaks into the engine bay and blows up the car. And so the best part about this though is there was a recall and it was fixed, and then it happened again, and
Oh
so
my.
there's been 2 recalls out. So I'm
On
like,
the
okay,
same
well,
thing.
yeah. So I'm like, okay, maybe not this one,
Yikes.
which
like-
is cheaper than the
that's
Corolla
too bad.
has.
It's like the 70s, bro.
I really liked that car.
It's like
Yeah.
every car in the 70s.
Yeah.
They're really fun inside. If you sit in them, like, oh, this is like a lot of fun. But
Yeah.
but like, I don't want to blow up, you know.
Does it
Yeah.
have the tilt steering wheel that you can put your laptop on? Or is that only
I
in-
didn't. It was a client's car, so I
GM
wasn't
stuff?
messing with it too much. But there's a lot of fun colors in the car, and it's all
Yeah.
plastic. So I feel like I'm in I feel like I'm in preschool.
Yeah.
in the car. But anyway, I went into this dealership last Thursday, right before the podcast actually,
Yeah.
and the guy, it's a Corolla, so I'm like, I don't need to test drive the car. Like, I just want to talk numbers with you, and he's like, no, you have to drive it, and I'm like, it's a Corolla. I don't want to. Like, I don't want to drive.
I don't want
it.
to
You know, I just want to like.
Don't make me
like
drive
let's
it.
talk numbers. And he's like, no, if you ever buy a new car, you have to test drive the car. So I drove it
Yeah.
around the block, and then we talked numbers, and he was like, he like hit all these, like he like lowered the residual value like to like almost nothing. And if anyone who knows Corollas know that like the cars don't ever depreciate, right?
Yeah.
So like he was just playing games, and like I think the Corolla, it was like 2 or 3 times the price per month that every other competitor was at. And I was
$500 a month.
Jeez.
yeah, $500 a month
For Corolla?
For a
yeah,
Corolla.
for a Corolla. And I was basically like,
Bruh.
I was like, I could go get a GTI, maybe a Golf R for this, like down the street, like across the street.
You get
So,
like a base Cayman.
yeah. So I'm like, why?
Right?
Probably not.
Maybe like
the base
700,
Cayman's like
maybe like
$700 a month.
yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, why is what it is? And so he's like, I don't know, like this is just the number. And I'm like, okay, well, like if you figure out like a bit different number, like call me. So I left, and then he emailed me and was like, are you still interested? And I'm like, yeah, but you need to do this, this, and this, like because he like stupidly printed out like the entire number sheet.
Yeah.
You see me? And I'm
Oh,
like,
and you just looked at the
this,
residual?
like I'm like, this needs to change, this needs to change, this needs to change based off of
Did
market
he know you like
averages.
knew anything about cars?
Yeah. I talked to him a whole bunch about it because I was trying to get him to not like play games. 'Cause,
Get
like,
you
he-
down.
Yeah. And he did anyway. And he's like, I can't. It's out of my control. I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm out of the Corolla game right
Yeah.
now.
That's so weird.
You know, when you're a car guy and you have experience in buying cars, dealerships give people the benefit of the doubt. Like, you know what you're talking about. You know what you're doing.
Yeah.
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 So
It's-
I'm
it's
kind of
stupid.
entertaining
It's like the
like
greedy part.
It's
maybe
whack.
like a Mazda hatchback because like I was looking up like those and like that seems like it's a realistic like Mazda themselves are like pricing them realistically and everything. So like I don't, it's like a luxury. I don't need a hatchback for like the detailing stuff.
Yeah. Why don't
But,
you
like,
get an EV then?
I would consider an EV like the
I still think the
Polestars.
Polestar,
Yeah.
the Polestar 2 is a good.
They're giving
$1,000 a
them away
month,
right now.
$1,000 a month, $200 a month, $299 a month.
No,
Or no,
$1,000
$1,000
down.
down, $299 a month.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was like, I hope it's not that.
Yeah.
Yeah, $299 a month is amazing.
So I'm still contemplating that. I'm
Yeah.
kind of just like waiting. You know, if there's any like salespeople watching that are at new car dealers, like please like reach out to me because
It's
I
your work car. You still get your street cred.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, I was telling Allie, I'm like, she's like, do you really need another car? I'm like, well, this car would never be seen at my house ever. It just drives. It just stays at the shop. I commute in my old Mercedes to the shop and then take the new car to a client or have someone else take the car to a new client. I'm like barely touching this thing.
Yeah.
It's just for the business. And he's like, okay, whatever. But anyway, those are my stupid new car lease deal news report stuff for you guys.
What's
Saun,
your project update?
You
I
just
know
said
you got
he'll
something
tell us.
exciting.
Hell, man. Well, actually, nothing exciting.
Okay, I thought you were
And-
gonna say you blew another motor.
No. But speaking of such, I did follow up on the Mini Cooper.
Oh, yeah.
And it should be ready sometime next week.
Really?
Yes.
Are you serious?
Sometime next week.
He
so
really
going to be ready.
So the motor's here and
It's
getting
here
installed.
Across
and
the
being
border.
worked on.
Wow.
Yes.
For those who watched last week, Frank's car, the Buick, whatever,
Made it across.
made
the
it
border.
across the border, and
That's
it is now in
amazing.
the East Bay.
Nice.
That's amazing. Congrats.
So it's coming.
Congratulations.
It's coming. What else? The 450 SLC is running. It's literally on the road and everything, being tested as we speak.
What are they messing with?
The tuning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just trying to get everything running right and everything. Make sure
Nice.
everything
A lot of
is
big,
cool.
a lot of big things for you.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Yeah.
So those
All
should
you
be
need
You're
is
about to add
this.
2 cars to your garage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that should be an interesting month next month.
So the only thing
I
we
can
wait
make that 944 disappear probably.
you know, we
I
can
know
talk
a
about
really
that.
good collector dealership if you want to pay fees on top of your
On top of the
sales.
sales.
We could use some of this middleman if you don't trust
We got
me.
the brackets.
I can verify the car for you. Don't worry.
You can verify
Do
funds
not trust this man.
and proof of funds and everything. Yeah.
Does he have a dealer license? I don't think so.
Yeah.
We got the brackets in for the motor for the Z, so we can actually start installing the motor. Like we're missing some brackets.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, something for it. Yeah. So, so that's exciting. That's it.
Is the valve cover on now?
The valve cover.
I never saw the valve cover, the gold one.
I don't think it's. Yeah, I don't think the valve cover is on there yet.
Okay.
Yeah,
makes
but
sense
that
to me.
should all be happening. I'm gonna hold his feet to the fire next week.
Nice.
So.
Matt, so 3 cars within like maybe the next 2 months are they're all going to be moving around.
Yeah. Hopefully.
What are you gonna if you had to get rid of one of these cars to make space, which is a very realistic?
I'm willing to bet it has
would you
4
get rid of?
cylinders and it doesn't. It's been collecting dust for about 7 months.
2 years. 2 years.
Joe's probably right about that. Yeah, it'd probably be the 944.
How's the paint under the vinyl?
Good.
It's probably
It doesn't have any paint issues, right?
I polished it from
And
a
it didn't
while
get
ago.
like a ton of sun or anything like while that vinyl was on, so it's not going to be like there's not going to be any difference or anything.
The only problem is that since it's mostly single stage, so it's going to be really hard to match. Like I can make it happen, but
Yeah.
it would make it really hard to match because the vinyl underneath the vinyl is like super swirly and gray, you know.
Yeah.
But like it could be polished, like it could be fixed pretty easily.
So if you had to get rid of, you probably would have to get rid of 2 cars if you were just going to keep this space. Maybe you could probably pull.
No, you can
Yeah,
totally.
no, I have
you can fit
plenty of room.
Yeah, you can
'Cause
fit them all.
If you notice the 964 and
Yeah, you've had 'em at
the AutoZammer at
AutoZammer.
home. Yeah.
Have you been driving them a lot?
No, not really.
It's just nice to have them at home.
Yeah, it's nice to have it at home. It's
Yeah.
nice. It's nice to have it when you want to drive it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
I feel that.
Yeah, especially over the summer, spring, summer.
Yeah.
You know, Napa.
Yeah.
All the different car events. It's a pain in
Especially the
ass coming down
964. I
there.
feel like of all the cars, that's the one you like kind of want at home.
Yeah,
You
going
like, wanna
out.
go out for a date with Eunice or something, or
Yeah.
I don't know, like go pick up Isaiah from school in a cool car.
Dude, the cool car for him. He likes the. Everybody likes the yellow M3.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
You know, speaking of special color M3s, if you want to spend 100% over market, 300% over market.
Right. I
Got a
tell you
good
what, when I'm ready to sell my M3, I'm ready. I know who to sell it through.
Hey,
Let's go.
the only reason it's selling for this amount is because of our proprietary sales
Yeah.
approach. And that proprietary sales approach is you just find only cars that are extremely rare.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I will tell you, like, so we're talking about the 2004 M3
Yeah, so
that's
we've got
available
this
through
car for sale.
OTS.
Yep.
And I will say, like, you know, when you see some of these cars online, is you never know how they're represented, you know, through the pictures. Obviously, the picture presentation is awesome in this, but to see this car in person, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it is wild.
Yeah, it's just a nice freaking car.
I wish
So
that
somebody's
photo,
gonna be very happy.
Go back.
Oh, these are the Florida photos.
Yeah, go back to. You can
Yeah, I
go
could tell.
Forward one. You can tell this was before it was detailed.
This is pre-Joe.
Yeah, you can really
Yeah.
tell. If you have an eye for it, you can tell that's what the paint looks like, which I wish
Yeah, I
that...
mean, you all over the place, like all this
Yeah,
shit all over the place.
Yeah.
Why'd you include these? Just to show them it was like where you got it.
Where'd you take those pictures at?
Florida?
Wait, I thought it was snow. Or is it
No, it's sand.
sand? Okay.
Yeah, it's sand.
Yeah, but yeah, this is Unicorn in BMW World, and it's so fun to see this because this is worth $2,000.
Yeah.
that's worth $2,000, and now
And this
these,
one's going to sell for...
yeah, it's
that
like,
one,
like
no, that exact car on the right, that might have leather, it might have cloth, I can't remember. You can click it and see. That exact car on the right just sold for like $87,000.
Wow.
Not that exact
Oh,
car,
that-
sorry. But that
that
was
spec.
not that car, but it's the same spec, I think.
yeah,
is
it's
that-
so funny to see these in comparison.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. Look, I think that is that leather. Zoom in on that.
yeah, it's cloth in the centers.
Yeah, so that is the brochure's color from or the
hilarious.
road track
The-
color.
like it's crazy.
Isn't
what,
it wild
what
that
the market?
the S4 got the first place rating in this?
Yeah, it's because Quattro was kind of new still.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I mean that's crazy. Like the values on these cars make no sense. I mean these are kind of like the S whatever S4
Yeah.
and C32 are kind of compared but this is just not like you cannot. These are not in the same sentence anymore.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Which makes sense. I mean, BMW was absolutely killing it back then.
But yeah, I guess this would be my project update. Is we finally got this thing up and listed.
Yes.
Which is exciting because we bought this car in January and we had a long saga of things to do. The headliner took 2 months because of issues, but it's done and it looks great.
Who did your headliner?
Shop up in San Rafael.
Okay, cool.
Franzini's. But there was a match. We matched it with the wrong material, so we had to find some more material and
Get it
reupholster
right.
it again.
All right. So Nat brings us into marketplace finds. So for the first find, Robert found a 1987
Tell
Nissan.
me,
Ooh, man.
tell me you've seen one of these before. Has anybody ever even
BE-1.
heard of this car? What's it called? I don't even know what it's called.
It's
Nissan BE1.
Nissan BE1, which looks like a POW.
It looks exactly like a POW, but cooler. The rear brake, the brake lights are cool.
I saw this posted today. This is in like Burlingame or something.
I want it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just down the road.
I want it. It's an auto. I didn't know that. It looks exactly like a POW. Even that I think the POW has.
This looks exactly like a Beat.
Yeah, it does. I think that the gauge is like a POW too, right? Doesn't the
They
POW
look
have
like
a
it.
big gauge right there?
I bet this is just a POW with
Oh,
a
is it a
different,
Targa top?
different name.
It looks like it's a
Oh yeah, it's a
like a vinyl
whatever
like,
it's
soft
called.
thing,
Yeah.
or just a big.
That's got to be a terrible, terrible drive.
Yeah, power
What's the
power
motor?
retractable canvas top.
What is it? What's the motor?
It's a 1 liter
One
four
liter.
cylinder.
So it's probably like a.
And an automatic transmission. You're like,
Yeah, I think it's probably horrible. It's probably horrible. But this, I feel like, I want to experience it for like a mile. Just to like have this, in my.
We should reach out
Rolodex.
to him for the Tiny Car Show. He would fit in just nicely.
Oh yeah,
Very nicely.
I mean, I didn't even know these existed.
Yeah, no,
Were
neither
these
did
ever
I.
sold? Was this sold in America? I can't imagine.
No
this was
way.
sold in America.
No way.
Mhm.
Yeah. No, this is a K car.
It looks like but it's not a K car because it's got 1,000 cc.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
So it was
Does it
a
have a plate on
Japanese
it?
non-K car, so it wasn't exempt from all of the fees of a normal car, but it is just as, useless as a K car. It's like the worst of both worlds.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
The fun fact was the buyers for this car were decided by lottery because there was such a high demand for it
What?
when they were new.
Whoa.
That's crazy.
Huh.
What year is
Um,
that? 87.
87.
Yeah.
Interesting thing.
Yeah.
I
Crazy.
mean, you get a lot of eyes at Cars and Coffee. If
you
you
definitely
want.
won. You would win. You'd win
I don't
today.
think it's worth $10,000.
No, it's not. It's more like
No.
5.
Maybe 4 or 5. Yeah.
Another Japanese.
My other find was a real
This
one. It's
Century?
not a 12-cylinder Century.
Yeah, it's a 5-valve
It's
V8.
an 8-cylinder Century, which is why it's so affordable. I think. Also, the 90s ones are not as valuable as.
They're still
newer
cool
ones,
cars
but-
though.
Yeah, they're so
Look at-
cool.
Is it a VHS player?
Does it
That's
have
awesome.
Does it have the passenger seat pass through?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's my
That big
favorite
ass
part of these cars.
VHS
Do you see?
player.
Do you see the pass through?
Yeah.
In the passenger seat where you put your feet into the. Yeah, so we talked. I don't know. We've been talking about this for months, and we haven't, in the same vein as you, Joe, haven't really kind of made a move into a shop car. But we talk about these.
That looks like a bad idea for a shop car.
Yeah, it'd be fun. Yeah, you get terrible gas mileage.
Yeah.
Hey, these are for sale from the same guy.
Yeah, I believe it. The photos look the same.
Phil Black. Same exact
Phil,
car.
I like your cars.
Yep. So he
I'm
must
not
be
gonna buy 'em, but I like
an importer.
Yeah.
All right. So my first one, I believe, is a Bentley, and this is a sick spec.
I was gonna say, or else he has a complex.
Purple,
Phil
over
Black.
cream, convertible. This thing
Next.
is awesome. Look at that.
Talk about it next time.
Sorry. That's cool. Where's that at, Joe?
Los Angeles.
$60,000. Oh,
Is
wow.
that did I see purple on purple?
That thing
Oh,
is
no,
so
okay.
cool.
That's cool.
It's got purple floor mats, I think. Right? Carpets?
Um,
Right?
let's find out.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Oh,
some
that's
leather,
freaking cool.
actually. Two-tone. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing's cool.
This is cool. This was the first thing that was recommended to me on my
Of course it was.
marketplace.
This is the most Joe.
Yeah.
How do I know if I'm accidentally logged into Joe's Facebook? The
Yeah,
first
which you-
car on the marketplace is a Bentley.
This is it's crazy. $60,000, 12,000 miles. So yeah, this is like a pretty good deal, I think, right? I mean,
I have no idea what these sell for, but I don't think.
Pininfarina? I didn't know these Pininfarina bodied these.
Hmm.
Huh. Well, that's crazy. That's my
Yeah.
first find. It's a cool car. I hope that, I don't know. I don't want to own one, but I'd like to drive one.
It's a great car.
Second thing I found was just a weird thing that popped up for me. This is a Ford of Germany, so it's like a European Ford Merkur Scorpio. I don't know anything about these.
A Merkur?
Yeah, well, it's a Scorpio. So I know like there's like an X4 RTI or whatever.
X4 TI.
Yeah.
But I never knew this existed, and I don't know anything about them.
Weird.
The photos are bad. It looks like a standard like Taurus
I don't know
replica
anything
kind
about
of
it.
thing.
Those taillights look like the same as. Is it a Nissan? What am I thinking of? Or a Mitsubishi?
I don't know.
Well, the
I don't know.
XR4 Ti or whatever, those were terrible to begin with. So imagine putting a Ford sticker in the 80s on it.
Oh yeah.
Imagine how bad that car is.
Oh yeah, this thing is probably garbage. I just thought it was crazy that it
Straight
was
trash.
here.
So weird. Is it the same dude? Is it Phil Black?
No, it's John.
Phil Black with the hot garbage.
$13,000. No
Although,
wonder-
okay, the Century was cool. The Century's a good car. I'm sorry. I take that back.
This is not going to sell for $13,000, but
No.
it's still cool. I like how it has the OG California plates too. Like it has whatever these are called.
It's very, very period with the
Very
two-tone.
period.
Two-tones, yeah, that's what I noticed.
Gray market imported for some reason. Like, it must have been like in a military car.
Yeah,
you know?
Somebody federalized
Yeah.
it. It was a diplomat.
Yeah, it was like it had to be like some like just like random sergeant that was just
Yeah.
like, I love this car so much, I'm bringing it, even though I could just buy a Taurus
Yeah.
and it'd probably be better. But anyway,
crazy.
look at that.
I mean, if that
Jake's
thing,
saying
oh my god, if it drove past me on the road, I'd like triple take.
that. That's an honorable mention. We have to bring this up. Jake, who's been on the podcast a little bit.
Like,
He's no longer with us today on this podcast here.
This thing has been listed forever,
oh my goodness.
but this thing is insanity.
That's
Is
money.
that paint?
Yeah, it's painted.
That's paint.
Look at the cores over there. Nice.
Oh my god, that's a paint job.
Yeah, it's a paint job, and like
Wow.
it's
Look at the
a-
headlights.
It's crazy. It's a detail guy too. But
That might be
Wow.
a shop car. That
If
would be a
that's
calling,
all-
Joe.
that would be
Yeah.
the best shot car either. Yeah, it needs motor work, so it doesn't run, and it's still $4,500. This car was listed for 15 or something.
I wonder how much the
months
paint.
ago.
I wonder how much that paint was.
So much money.
I mean, that's
I,
like-
I guarantee you it was so expensive to
Oh
make this
my
thing like
God.
that, to make the two-tone. Anyway, that's just the honorable mention.
Jake.
I've been wanting to put that up on our podcast for like probably months because of
Yeah.
how crazy it was. Like, never had the guts to do it. So thank you, Jake, for that.
Nice.
Man.
And here it is still for sale.
Yeah. Alrighty. So today's main topic, we're going to be talking about heirlooms. So I'm sure, like, as an automotive enthusiast, like, at least for me, like, it's a dream of mine to be able to pass down a car that like I care about a lot, to the next generation, and the next generation understood how much I cared about it and wants to do the same, And so it's a car that like stays in the family, regardless of value. So I just wanted us to explore like what a great heirloom car is, similar to like a watch, that like gets passed down or something. So what are you guys' thoughts on that?
The first thing that comes to mind is like a 2+2 Ferrari. Something that like if I had a 4-person family, I could actually have like brought the kids out in it, and it's like something really pretty and like a 365 2+2 or a 330 2+2.
Mm-hmm.
That's just
Yeah.
what comes to mind first, but I don't know if that's my answer. I'm just
Yeah.
speaking my mind. Do you have
guess-
one?
Do I have one? I mean, like, I want to say the E20 M5. It could be a great heirloom car later on in life. Like, it's an '88, so it's still a little bit early for something like that. But like, I think like if I held on to it, it would definitely be like a car that like would be special enough. Like, it's rare enough, it's low in production enough to be something that would be like, do not like unless like your kid needs like reconstructive surgery that's millions of dollars or whatever, like do not sell this car kind of thing. It's like this is a special thing,
Yeah.
especially like in a car like in my shape that isn't perfect, that it's like has some like beauty marks to it, it looks like has some stories to tell. I think another answer that's like very like typical, but I would think like like a 60s Camaro like convertible or something that like
Yeah.
there's so many of them, but like each one of them has a very specific like this guy bought this car for a reason probably.
Yeah, just
I know
very
one
good
for sale.
Very good stories. Yeah, he wants a convertible though.
I don't know. I mean, that's not what I would choose.
I saw a convertible red on red the other day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
That's cool. I want to say E20 M5. I think it's a good. I think it's
Makes the most
very
sense for you,
attainable,
too.
and I think it's something special. And I'm trying to make it happen. I don't know if it'll happen, but I'm trying to make it happen. I'm trying to love the car. You know, I can't. I don't love it yet, but like I'm trying so hard to keep it.
Yeah.
Because it's like just like special enough.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah. Probably. I mean, it would probably be the CS. Like the
Oh, really?
The CS is something I want to keep.
The 3.0.
The 3.0.
Yeah,
Something I want to
okay.
keep, and I think that has
Yeah,
aged
that's good.
very nice.
Yeah,
I think
that's
one
a
of the
good
things that I see is sometimes with passing down cars, like I don't know, some of the bigger cars, like say from like the 30s, 40s, 50s,
Or even
like nobody really appreciates
the old
them.
Ferraris.
They just can't drive them either.
generation. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very true.
So
So it
I'm
needs to be
curious if
something
that'll
modern
change
enough
with
that-
80s and 90s cars becoming classic.
Yeah.
That they're so easy to drive. You know.
Yeah,
I mean,
if
I
they'll
wonder
be
if that'll
more-
change at all.
well, the fact
accepted.
is too, with 80s and 90s cars, there's not really a whole lot out there, and especially if you look at 90s stuff,
Yeah.
because they were shit.
Yeah, even
Oh,
like the
there's not,
like
good,
the,
there's not a lot of good
The
ones
American
left.
cars,
even
yeah,
like the
yeah, yeah, which is
Ferraris and
crap.
stuff. Like there really isn't that anything that
Dude, they
special.
fall. Yeah, they will.
Yeah.
They also just like, I mean, the old ones fall apart too. But there's just a different type of like disintegration happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
in some of those '90s cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mean think of an
Especially
E36.
90s.
An E36 can't be an heirloom car because you let the car sit too long, the interior starts to melt.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Probably the same with E20.
Well, it's the same thing
honestly.
with like '60s. I mean, oh, the '60s cars. They just like will
Yeah,
not
but these there's
function.
more metal and screws and shit.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
like easy things that could be easily like removed and
or
put back on.
or remanufactured. Like
yeah.
try
I
remanufacturing.
mean, an
like
E36 door panel will not exist 4
yeah,
years from
yeah.
now.
and you
know,
can't recreate it.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, without a ton of money.
without like some crazy 3D printing.
Yeah.
And, expense.
yeah,
yeah.
that's a good point.
I mean, yeah, you can't miss on an old Ferrari or
I
Yeah.
feel like spending so much time around this shop lately with Derek and Taz has made
Yeah.
me have like such a soft spot for some of these old Ferraris.
yeah.
And like I mean, we do a lot of business with like families going through like the death of a parent or something.
Yeah.
And we, are helping them sell a car, and I see the same, it's the exact same thing. The downside of it is like these things become so valuable that it's like immediately sold,
Yeah,
when,
exactly.
when somebody dies. But like we sold a car for somebody whose family member passed, and like she came into the shop and we talked to her for a while, and she was like crying, talking about selling the car. And like when she finally sold the car, it was like such a big deal. She, there was numerous family members involved, and they sold it because it was the best way to handle, everything. But it was like such a important part of their life, which was cool. And I think some of it was just because it's like this.
Bro, I know
iconic
when I
Italian
die,
thing.
my son's selling off everything.
What are you gonna do?
I
He
almost
doesn't
wonder if
care
like
Well, the
anything
nice
about
thing is
cars.
he's one person, so he doesn't have to dispute.
yeah, there's
Yeah.
easy solution for him.
Yeah.
I almost wonder if like the best heirloom car is a car that isn't as like as valuable.
It
as
just
like an old
it
Ferrari.
only has intrinsic. Its only intrinsic value is emotional.
Like whenever we talk
Yeah.
to Frank, Frank's he was on the last episode. For those who don't know, Frank's mom bought an S2000 brand new.
Yeah.
And passed it down to him, and he's passing it down to his son.
Yeah.
And it's like
It's a good
this, like,
example.
and he considers he doesn't consider himself the owner. He considers himself the caretaker, and it's like a
Yeah,
car
yeah.
that, and it's like a valuable car. Like an S2000, especially in that shape, is a valuable car. But it's not like an old Ferrari valuable, and it'll never be an old Ferrari valuable. Maybe for the next 50 years at least.
Yeah.
Oh, another one actually that came to mind. Speaking of that, is like a Citroen SM.
Yeah, those are a
or
little bit
XM.
harder to
That's
upkeep,
cool.
I think.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
that would
definitely.
that's definitely
no,
an heirloom
definitely
car.
no, not like the Honda.
The
in that
weird
way, but in the
quirkiness.
way that like they're gonna be like artifacts of history, but they're not gonna be like an F40. Like they're not gonna be like sought after by tons of people and overvalued. But they
Yeah.
have like so much charm to them, and like if you think about having a family of 5 or a family of 4, like it's a pretty cool like weekend drive.
Yeah. I mean, we've gone through so many cars. My son has seen so many cars. I don't know if there's any real attachment
Yeah,
that he has.
he's
to
used to them
anything.
just like being objects that come and go.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I feel like is a healthy approach.
yeah.
to,
But I mean, a good question would be like, if you think about your childhood and how you grew up, or
Yeah.
whatever the case is there a certain car that you wished your parents had? Maybe they still have it. Maybe they
Oh, they
don't have it
kept.
anymore. They kept
Yeah,
to
yeah.
pass down to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know it sounds selfish for me to say that, but I mean, I kind of wish that the E39, but the OG one,
Yeah.
the one that was like my dad really liked, was still around. That car was like sold in an economic downturn, I think, if I remember correctly, and it makes sense. Like it made sense why it left.
Yeah.
But it was one of the only cars that I think he sold that he really like. I definitely really vividly remember him being pretty upset about. And I wish that car was still around. That car is fucked now. Like it's been totaled. Like the drivetrain still lives on somewhere else, but like in a wagon
it's sad.
actually.
Okay.
But that car I think for sure would have been like an heirloom. Like this is like the M5 that you never let go of. Everything else can go. Like I think all the other he goes through cars so fast at this point.
Yeah.
Besides the M5 wagon.
Yeah.
And the silver one, like you know, there's
Yeah,
not
they all
really-
come and go.
Those are probably the only heirloom cars. Like everything else is kind of like it'll leave and like the whole garage will be different in a year probably.
Yeah.
I think the only one I can think of is my dad's Saab. We had the MGTD that my parents sold that is like, I don't, it's cool because my grandfather rebuilt the car and all that stuff, but it's at the end of the day, it's an MG, and like, I don't really want to have to own one because they're just a pain. But my dad had a Saab when I was a kid, and I have a soft spot for Saab sedans because of that. The
Nice.
Saab 900.
Nice. Dude, we had buckets growing up, so I don't have anything. Dude, we were hella poor. That was all buckets, dude. All buckets.
You don't miss your, which one was the one that
That was the Firebird, right?
what's the transmission?
Yeah, the Firebird.
Yeah, the Firebird.
pulled out of the
No.
tunnel?
Put it this way. I think remember the best car that we had in my family was my uncle had like an 85 Nissan Sentra. And it was a car that everyone was like, oh my God. No, it was really shitty.
Wasn't it like manual because it was just cheaper that
It
way
was
or
just
something?
cheap. Yeah, manual. Yeah.
Yeah, but comment down below what your ideal heirloom car is, or if you guys have an heirloom car that you're currently working on, like as like creating history with it. Comment down below what that is, because I'm would love to know what other people have to say about this stuff. I'm sure like there's valuable cars that are heirloom cars, but I think there's some cars just with good stories that they're also heirlooms.
Yeah. And Porsche and Ferrari is just too easy.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
too
those don't
easy.
count. Don't comment those.
Yeah, don't
Anything
comment
else.
those,
You can send that to Petrolicious.
Yeah. They'll make a video of you of your hands in the steering wheel and like really close up.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Unless it's a 996.
Yeah.
Yeah, or Boxster.
Then it's hilarious and ironic.
Yeah, some car that blew up.
Then you
400
actually
times.
have a sentimental reason to love it. It's not because of the car.
Exactly.
Okay, and that brings us into this scenario for the week. So this scenario is pretty straightforward, but you've been given a chance to drive Laguna Seca without anyone else around. The track's open just for you. What car are you taking and why?
I still don't have an answer for this, so you want to go with yours?
Okay, well, my answer is jaded with the fact that I was at Drive Sims a couple weeks ago for like 3 hours, and I had seat time the whole time, and I was in a Lotus Elise on this track in video game world, and was having such a good time that I never got out of it.
For 3 hours.
For 3 hours, I was
Yeah,
just loving
it's a
the
lot of
car so
time.
much, and so I figured like. What I really want in life right now is a slow, sporty car, like a Miata or a Lotus or something, that I could really enjoy. And I think both of those cars, the Lotus probably would have more sense of occasion because of the supercharged four-cylinder or whatever the hell it has in it. And that's what I'd be taking a Laguna Seca, I think, like just like a basic Lotus Elise.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
That I can just like run at 11/10 the whole time without braking and just enjoy myself with it. What about you guys?
I would love to run like a Formula 3 or like Formula Ford or actually even something older like a Lotus, open wheel Lotus. Just anything like small open wheel.
Yeah.
I would love to drive there. It'd be fun.
You know what? What I would do is I'd probably take that oh man. I'd love to take that what's that electric Tron car, that Audi,
The Audi?
that Ken Block drove.
Oh, the Huna Pegasus?
Yeah. Something like that. And I just fucking drift the whole time.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
I go fucking crazy.
Do the corkscrew
Oh
backwards.
yeah, totally. Totally.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
Like they did with some of the Formula Drift guys. Remember when they did the corkscrew, like up and down the corkscrew in drift
Yeah.
cars?
Yeah.
Yeah.
mhm.
So cool.
Yeah.
Wasn't that Formula Drift?
It was during Car Week.
Car Week. Okay.
Matt did it in his
And the
Corvette.
yeah. That was dope.
Yeah, that was very cool.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Something like that. I mean, I would just want to drive something that like I couldn't go do in a track day.
Yeah.
And I could only, unless it was like a really fast, some special track day. And like the only way I could do it is in like an actual race, but I don't want to have to race, you know?
Yeah.
Or like a shoe.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
Yeah.
There need to
Yeah.
be something. The problem is like there's this skill, there's this like very, very
Yeah, it's, like,
significant skill
undrivable
ceiling
cars
where like,
almost.
yeah,
Yeah.
you just cannot drive it unless you've been racing your whole life. And I feel like Formula 3 car falls within that. Like there's no way I could get a Formula 3 car on that track.
Yeah. I'd love
But
a
it'd be cool.
small, like a small, compact, like rally car.
Yeah, that'd
something
be
like
fun.
that. That'd be fun.
Like a Fiesta rally car
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
Go through the dirt instead of the road.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Go up into the mountains.
Or
where
like a
there's
911
bombs and shit.
Safari.
911 Safari.
Or like a Dakar.
There's a car.
Like
yeah.
that's really
Yeah.
cool.
There's one actually here. There's one pretty close to here.
There's one in San Francisco too.
Uh,
One of our clients has one.
they're
They're kind
they're
of.
not they're weird.
I saw a
looking.
Sterrato. I saw the first time I saw a Sterrato, which is surprising. I thought I would have seen one earlier, because I've heard they're
They're
kinda
around.
everywhere, but yeah.
Wasn't there
I
one
think they
that,
look
at,
better
like,
than the
that
I think they
dealer?
look better than the cars.
that was like asking like a huge amount of money for one? Did you like
Yeah,
stop by and like look at it?
No, no. I was offered one that came off of. I wanted one, and I really thought about getting one, and I missed the list, and then one became available, but it just wasn't a good time. So,
Yeah,
which
they're cool. I think they look pretty cool.
the Sterratos look
Yeah,
great.
they're really cool.
Really good looking car.
Yeah. So comment down below what car you taking to Laguna Seca if you were to have the track all to yourself.
F2004 Michael Schumacher.
Yeah, crazy
Formula
V10
One
car.
I think it was a V8. I think didn't V10.
Oh, really?
Wasn't the last Ferrari V10 like 1996 or something? Like
No, I think it was. I think it was 2000s. But I
Oh,
don't know.
okay.
Comment down below.
Oh, I'm
correct
thinking
us.
V12.
Yeah,
V12.
V12,
in
yeah.
95
Yeah.
or 96.
But with that being said, anything else? Any closing remarks before we end the podcast and finish up?
Nope.
Good.
All right.
We think about my heirloom car for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. Please comment down below. I'm curious if anyone else has some heirloom cars.
First,
that
I
they
gotta
wanna
have
share.
a kid though.
Yeah, right.
Seems
The kid is
more
the thing
integral.
That definitely matters with that. You're not passing it down to your dog or cat, that's for sure. That cat doesn't give a fuck about about your car. But all right, make sure to subscribe to the podcast if you're new. And yeah, we'll see you next week. See you later.